That is just my contribution to say that we have to integrate those stakeholders in our exchanges. You know, we are technicians. We are actors of DNS and of ICT. All that relates to mobile money, I think that we have to go very deep. It is important for our African ecosystem because the classical banking system is such that people cannot go into that, but mobile money has an impact on everybody. Thank you very much. That's just my contribution.
Thank you very much for your contribution. He was insisting on the integration of the mobile money and the banking system. Next contributor or question from this side.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I have one question for Dr. Ghana. You talk of when we were speaking, interoperability. I didn't know if you can come back on that. Interoperability.
Okay, is there any other question? Sorry, any other contribution before we respond to that intervention? If none, then Vitus, you can respond and then we will proceed.
Okay.
I didn't get it.
Okay. Sorry, you are from where? The countries?
Sorry, I'm from
Okay, Benin. I don't know whether you have a number of mobile money operations in Ghana here. In Benin here. Okay, so you may have at least more than one. Okay, so basically interoperability means being able to transact seamlessly from one operator to the other. Okay, so if there are 5, it means that I can easily transfer, say, MTN to Tigo or from Tigo to Vodafone. I don't know if that is simple enough for you to understand. Maybe if someone has something to add to that, I'll be happy.
Okay, we've answered the question. In some of the countries, when they started these mobile money payments, there was no crossover transaction between one operator to the other operator. But now, for instance, for the case of Tanzania, you can send money from Vodacom to Tigo or to Airtel Money. So it's possible.
Okay.
Or even 2 banks. Even 2 banks, yes. Okay, Mohammed.
Okay. I think, thank you, Mr. Buba Jama from Cameroon. The problem we have with the Francophone countries, I don't know if you have it also with the Central Africa, is when the regulation have started, the World Bank have enforced regulation in many countries by allowing them to understand one area, that was the mobile business. They train them, they teach them, they bring everything, they bring tools for them to understand really the mobile business. And they were able to do that regulation in a very smart way. But when it comes to regulate data and internet services and domain name businesses, the regulator declared that they are not competent because they don't have the internal skills first to understand before to try to regulate a market. So they let it free. Many of them to just watch and let the market decide where they go. It was not because they don't want to move, because they don't understand and they don't have the tools to decide and to move the right direction. So the regulator have an authority on the country, very limited national. When it comes to the money, we decide to create a regional regulation authority, that is the central bank. So 2 authorities with 2 different areas of coverage, and a new things that I call an OVNI, a non-identified object, that is called the mobile, gets in, start talking their own currency, their own things, and they get between. So in fact, some of the English-speaking countries managed well to create a new authority for it, but in our Francophone countries, the central bank declared that they need to start thinking about how we can manage these things, because the people we have, they are playing games here and there. So the telco, what they, okay, they are telco, they are managed by the telecom regulators. They create another company that becomes a bank or a financial institution, and they are managed by the central bank. Merge into the same company. So they play games, and they know that it's an empty area. There's no rules, there's nothing, and they just develop stuff. So what I'm saying here is, they are thinking. Central bank have central bank in West Africa and over in Cameroon try to think and to see ways to start doing stuff, but they don't know where to start, because in fact there is a problem of authority and a problem of area. And when it is a crossing area, it is very difficult. You don't have the same authority, you don't have the same decision, and there is no mechanism to enforce from the central bank regarding things where they comes to the mobile stuff. So it was a tricky things, and if our government did not realize quickly how to manage these things, in the future they will lose control of many things in this area. And coming back to the DNS stuff, what I'm saying is we have local authority in the DNS that are the CCTLD. They're going to play a greater role in the future in terms of signing. We give them the authority of signing, like for example the DNS sec zone. Like we give them authority and we trust them, because they are the trustee, the more trustee authority in the DNS system. It is a CC in my country. So giving them more authority, they can jump and try to play a role on trying to sign, and even on the stamp side or whatever, because they are here and we trust them. And certificate, signature, everything is based on trust. Even the financial system is based on trust. We trust a bank. We give him our money. It's only based on trust. And I think that we really need to think how we can enforce our CCTLD to play a major role, not only what they are doing now, but when it comes to discuss more stuff on that area, I think that you need to take more responsibility. That's just some ideas on the floor, because we do not have a solution for it.
Thank you, Mohammed. Any comments, questions from remote? Parak, remote participation, none from remote. From the room, please, your contribution, comments or questions, please.
I think it was a boring session, that's why people...
Maybe.
Was it so boring?
No. Maybe.
Lucky.
Oh,
keep talking. Lucky, we need your help.
He wants you to keep talking. So I give him more minutes? Please. Because basically he was talking about the local solutions for the local problems we have. And the way I understood, the FTLD has a lot of work to do on this aspect.
Oh, yeah.
So that registrars, we are not talking only about ICANN accredited registrars. If we work on the problem now, even once we have registration across the border, it becomes easier for the local registrars as well to do business across the continent. So it's something real FTLD have to take it up, work on a possible local solution, especially with these mobile money payments. But it's really very difficult for registrars to create accounts with every registries and deposit the money with every registry. And we need to think it and work it for a local solution. Barak, I saw you raise your hand. Please. He's the admin manager of FTLD. Maybe he's giving a local solution.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I think from the presentations, it's clear we have a number of local solutions in the countries, but there seems to be a challenge with the reserve banks, which is a policy issue. I don't think getting a uniform portal per se may be a real challenge, but the fact that we are using we have the different fiscal regimes across the continent may be what we need to surmount. So probably if there's anyone that can try and address that, I don't know if we could get an example of how Europe overcame that challenge, then probably we'll be able to overcome that challenge on our side. Because we have, if you look at most of the mobile operators, be it in West Africa, Eastern Africa, or Southern Africa, they have local solutions. If you have a business, people are able to pay via mobile money. But the problem is there's the challenge of interoperability. And again, as Dr. Paulos cited, in some countries, the reserve banks are a bit rigid. So I'm not sure whether the reserve banks have a common association across the continent that we can be able to engage insofar as that issue is concerned.
Thank you, Barak. I think the way that we present it is just like if we don't have an aggregation of central banks, so we will not start getting a solution. And it's really, we really need to turn it on another side, because we're not trying to ask the central bank from different currency, different countries to come up with a common solution and a common policy. No. Because, I mean, in order to do transaction and to pay to registries outside of our country, there is nothing that we're calling here. Even within the country, let me give an example. If I'm a user of MTN, I'm a MTN mobile money user here, I want to pay to a mobile money user of Move, I cannot do it. So it's not. So some other people are playing the role of what we call payment integrators, and it is a new players come on market because they have seen it. You can send the money, for example, from Western Union. I'm in Canada, I send money from Western Union, and in the village of Tobacco somewhere, so there is no Western Union there. The guy will not be able to take it. So people understand that there was a need to create a payment gateway integrator, and it was an opportunity. So some companies have started doing it. In Senegal, we have Ciza, in touch, we have others, and in other countries they have also. So some emerging players come on market, because if you look at the market, you're smart enough, you analyze, you see that there are missing links, so you put yourself in. What we're trying to do here is, we as players, CCTLDs, registrar, resellers, we know that we have our market, but our market is missing some, integrated payment that facilitate our life. So our question is, first, can we create ourselves? Can we call as a professional to help us create it? Can we, together with the collaboration of other actors, set up something that sort out our problems? This is where we are. That's really, things that we need to sort out. And we can create it. We can create it. It can start as a pilot, move on, start being a system, and then, so the thing is, it is a room for new study, a new RFP, as you said, Chairman, because the expectation of the continent is huge. We have very few things in our hands. The existing system is rigid. It's not for us, suitable for micropayments, for scalability in terms of actors, for interaction between actors. So we really need to sync it and to set up things. So that's really where we are. And I'm not seeing, don't put the constraint at the beginning of things. If central banks are not ready to talk to us, no problem. We don't need them. Let's think about what is the missing piece in the transaction and who can handle it and how we're going to set up things to handle it. And we can make it happen.
Very good. Thank you, Mohammed. I fully agree with you. And To start it, well, we can start it small, maybe sub-region-wise, because I remember for the case of East Africa, someone from Tanzania can send money to Kenya through Safaricom and Vodacom. So it's something we can start at sub-regional level. Once it works, then even the central banks can be convinced, because there is an opportunity for them to make some money. Yep. A comment from Vitus and then Alex.
Okay. No, Alex.
Alex first, big man.
Non, je crois que je vais laisser la parole en français. Donc.
I will speak in French. I think that he touched a sensitive point. I agree with Mohamed on his contribution. We cannot wait, because today it's an issue we need to look at when a dynamic of setting up a system of continental registration. The registers registries may work together. The .Africa should also address the local registries to promote, indeed, a registration of continental extension. I think one of the barriers is that of payment, and that possibility that offered. If I take the case of the WEMU area, the interbanking possibility of WEMU is possible. It's just for WEMU countries to come together and determine that in the ACAS area, it's possible for the working aggregators of payment is possible. If you talk about the central bank, banks like EcoBank are systems that found the means of working with central bank to set up system of payment that neutralize in different currency areas. I think even the telcos have found a synergy between Afriregister and those operators, this banking operator. Discuss with them, find the most adapted solution to the means, because the domain name is not a major amount, but to multiply by the number of domains that we can have could represent an interesting market, notably putting forward the economic potential behind the domain name itself, the potential that will be offered, the multiplication of this means. Now, I think I'm in favor of going towards such solution, and I refine synergy through this session. Thank you very much.
I saw Lucky raising his hand. There's something to contribute.
Thank you, Lucky Masrela, ZACR, RANAF proxy. I think if I just go back a few years ago at the DNS forum in Nairobi, I asked a question. This is before we had launched .Africa. I said, in the absence of a common currency on the continent, how best and what mechanism can we use that is accessible to all of us, be it bartering or any other system that's available? And I said, should we use cows to buy .Africa, or chicken, or goats? And I remembered Dr. Paulos Nyirenda. He said, oh, Lucky, are we going to push the cows through a wire to transact and get it at the end of the, you know? But the issue here is now we are back to looking at a traditional platform to facilitate a transaction. Should we really think around that traditional platform relationship with a reserve bank to facilitate the transaction? and the movement, the acquisition, the provisioning of the domain names, is it the right way to be thinking? Are we restricting ourselves by forcing ourselves to think of the reserve banks? Can't we think outside the reserve banks and have a different model? Because now that is constraining our movement. We are immediately walking into a regulated environment. We need to push a lot of, issues around that system, because a reserve bank in Kenya, a reserve bank in Ghana or in Nigeria, they have different policy requirements. We do not have anything that's common. Even the African Development Bank is nowhere next to that. So are we making or creating a problem for us, or are we creating an easy solution for transaction? I think this is what we need to be trying to do. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Lucky. Any other contribution from the floor before I invite Vitus? He had an intervention. If none, then Vitus.
Mr. President.
No, proceed first.
Okay, I think during Diop's presentation, he made mention that if they call on the Africans, who will be ready to provide a solution. I just wanted to say that yes, I'm a developer, and I know there are several African developers like me. People like Diop have, if you study the way they've organized the African ecosystem in terms of the DNS, you will notice that the structures they have kept in place has really helped. I've been trained by AFNOC, and I'm proud to have one of my instructors here, Muchiki. And these people have spent a lot of considerable time training us. So this is just to point to you that, yes, the knowledge is here. We are with you. We know the problems, and you have trained us. So if you call on us at any point in time, I'm sure we can deliver. So this is just to assure you that, yes, in Africa, we have the brains because you taught us. Thank you.
Thank you, Vitus. Next contribution from the floor.
Good morning. I'm Kofi Adume. I'm a network computer specialist. I would like to make a contribution. I was here yesterday. I took part in the debate. I came quite late because, first of all, in the 6th forum, DNS Africa, the information wasn't really available. Yesterday I got information. Friends I'm discussing with are not even aware that this forum is taking place. So next, I would like the communication to be further carried out. In terms of DNS, I have the impression that information just flies over. In our schools, we need to communicate enough, because tomorrow the learners of today are the ones who are going to take over the industry. I think that first of all, we need to begin to inculcate this jargon, this way of seeing things, how things are taking place on top. Because when we get into that, when we engage in a debate with someone, even a student in a university, we tell him about the African DNS Forum, CTLD, he doesn't, he feels lost. I have the impression that at given less time, we jump in a vacuum, get into the fray. For things to be rooted, for us to have this culture, we need at the grassroots that during training and information is injected. This is my modest contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kofi. You are basically contributing to a very important aspect for the registries to work along with academia in terms of providing the DNS knowledge practically. Because in the past, for instance, myself, when I was at the university, I just knew theoretically what DNS is, but at least you have opportunity to provide the practical training to the young generation. And it also works in the aspect of marketing your domains to the young generations. Once they join the industry, then they can be the good ambassadors to senior citizens in terms of adoption of these new GTLDs, CCTLDs, sorry.
Kofi, je pense que vous avez la chance d'avoir...
Kofi, I think you are lucky. You are lucky. Kofi, I think you are lucky to have... you have three lucks. The first luck is that the vice chairperson of ICANN is Beninese, he's in a room. The second luck, you have Yaovi, who works with him, who's Beninese. You also have Isa Benin. We have all operators here, and also the Forum on Internet Governance in Benin. And many events are taking place. I think this meeting is not a students' meeting, it's an expert meeting, but you are the platform to grow. I mean, the nursery that's supposed to prepare the future. You join the internet community of Benin, join the community that is working on the pattern internet governance in Benin. Try to specialize. It's only take place through passion. Some are more passionate with security, others network, others DNS, other services. Create a passion, and passion will take you to expertise. And you also have before you a community of African experts that do not have a nationality. I'm not Senegalese, I'm Beninese, I'm South African, because before me I have a youth to which I'm talking that doesn't have any. You need to stand on the local community to really be strengthened to understand a certain concept. You just need to know that potentially you're one of the stakeholders we want to see in 2-3 years to talking about it. And for that, it's a personal commitment. I have all the tools to be able to familiarize. Online information is available. In the nature of willingness, you need to provide this generation that is take over.
Now I would like to give the final opportunity to Pierre. Pierre, please.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Je crois que
I think that the question of Mr. Kofi deserves that we answer. I'm here. I will answer part of his question. Part of his communication information around this activity. I would like to just say quickly that ICANN in this matter has been, it's done for the past 5-6 years. It's just a facilitator. ICANN provide certain resources for organizers to bring people in, gets involved in the organization. It stops there. ICANN can never get into the operationalization. How do you do this or that? That's not the issue of ICANN here. That's quite clear. So often ICANN works with other partners that are here, ISOC and others, but with the FTLD and the co-hosts in all countries, we have someone that hosts as that person, which not personal, is that entity that takes care of all these aspects. So at the communication level, it wasn't the responsibility of ICANN. Even though online, ICANN did what it could, where our communication team here, even international level, all that was to be done around this activity was done. So I really apologize if indeed the information didn't really flow. To be frank with you, when we feel that we have 150 to 200 participants scheduled, and we have organized it, and at the local level we've not had a necessary mobilization. It's a problem, but I think it's an internal problem as well. The other thing you talked about of the involvement of university and academia, I don't know if you're informed of a program that's called Afriregister. Afriregister is a network of scholars, academics, and in that a lot of information, a lot of training is carried out. We would know at national level if you have the focal level of Afriregister, and you get further involved in what is done. And I would close what Mouhamet said. We need to get interested. Don't have the attitude of my hand was not held, I wasn't told. The income tell me you should seek for information, and that information is posted often on the social media instead of waiting for you to be called. The questions are quite relevant.
Now we have less than 5 minutes before we wind up this session. I would like to welcome my panelists for a minute concluding remarks before we close. I start from the left. Victor.
Je vais parler en français.
I want to speak French. I think this issue of payment system is crucial for the development of DNS. I think that the contribution of Mouhamet Diop to find local solutions to local problems is totally achievable, and we have the necessary skills. The issue of central banks is an issue of inertia. They are used to work in a traditional system, and as we had other experiences for instance, with the telecommunications, to introduce the internet, we can also tackle the same issue of fighting against the system that is affected by the inertia of central banks, and I think we propose solutions, blockchains, cryptocurrencies to find African solutions to African problems. I would like to propose that here in this forum we'll be able to propose eventually task force to work faster, setting up a payment mechanism for our DNS, and to see if we cannot use the same system for other domains that are struggling the same way. There's a proposal that was formulated and submitted by Mouhamet Diop that has to do with the setup of a guarantee fund, a trust fund. I wish that we be able to ponder over this issue, because apart from the payment system, we also have the issue of insurance. Even if the issue was solved at ICANN, we must insure our business so that it works comfortably. Once again, the traditional insurance system must be revisited for development of our business. We're in a digital economy. Insurance companies are in the old system that we need to really look at how to assure that it works so that we don't have any problem. Thank you very much.
I'm
excited this conversation is going on, and I urge that it continues. But I also would like us to bear in mind that we should not drag this for too long. We should not talk for 10 years, because in our world of technology, by the time you realize there's a new thing, and so the old solution becomes deprecated. So yes, there's a need for payment gateways. Let's fight it now and get a closure and move to the next stage. But I'll also add that in this conversation, I strongly ask that we take a critical look to the blockchain. Probably that may help, especially in the African continent. And in my conclusion, I would like to thank, no matter what I say, the elders of this community, that we continue to pray for them so that they will be strong and continue to guide us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think that it's obvious that we do need a solution to the issues of payments, and part of the solution lies with improvement of policy on the continent. So I've been looking up central banks, and it looks like there is an association of African central banks that meets regularly. So maybe this is at the level of FTLD, of Afriregister, of organizations like the Africa Entrepreneurship, DNS Entrepreneurship Center that we are promoting. I think we have a center in Egypt. So I can see here the next meeting of the Association of African Central Banks is in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. Maybe we can engage them and see how we can move forward with this issue. I think when you talk to a central banker, they appear really huge compared to a registry. In Malawi, the central banker is much bigger than the registry. But we are operating at the same national level, and I'm sure that we can engage them, put our another way would be if someone is rich enough to have a continent-wide mobile money payment system. Maybe that's one solution. So on this issue, there is definitely need for innovative solutions and more engagement across the banking system. Thanks.
Thank you, Chairman. I think I also want here to urge that we start by making our institutions stronger. And the only way we can come up with solution is to make our community greater and looks greater again. Like this is also time for me to reinforce our willingness to come into agreement with AFTLD, and I think that it was part of the agenda to sign this agreement, maybe in Benin here. But what I want is, if we come up as a team, AFTLD, Registrar, and resellers group and other actors who are willing to see these things moving, it's going to be very easy to start discussing with other partners, like the mobile environment with the mobile money actors, the financial integrators, and the insurance company, because they're going to see us as a community and as a group with common goal and common agenda. And I think it's, if you remember what I was highlighting yesterday, is we need to be more focused on institution. because we individuals, we are moving. We get retired and we start something else. So the only thing that is remaining is the institution and the agreement we are setting up in place. So seeing us as a global community, like the DNS community in Africa, this is also the goal for this African DNS Forum, is to set up and show people that we are sharing common objectives. And we can also set up a common agenda that's going to be suitable for the benefit of our community, that is the internet users, the African internet users worldwide. So our future partner are potentially banks, mobile operators, insurance company, micro insurance company, and also integrators. So I think that we have really a potential of setting up a lot of things, but let's start by building our community stronger by showing a common community group before we move and try to convince others to join us into that thing. So let's formalize our agreement and let's formalize how we can be an African DNS community with a common agenda as a common goal, is how we're going to better serve the African community on the DNS world. Thank you.
Thank you, my panelists. And with those concluding remarks, we come to the end of this session. And I hope my panelists deserve a round of applause for their contributions. Thank you so much. Back to Barak for any announcements.
Thank you very much. Let's go for break, and we'll be back at 11 sharp so that we can recover lost time. So tea break is just outside on your right. Be back at exactly 11.